Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, and today I'm going to share with you a card from the catalog. If you've been watching my channel a while, you probably know once a week I like to hop on and just show you how to create a card from the catalog, sometimes exactly as it's found in the catalog, sometimes a little different, and sometimes quite a bit different. Today I am changing a few things, but not everything. So let me go ahead and flip my camera around and I will show you the card that we'll be making. So I'm going to start out over here on page 116. This is the 2022 to 2023 annual catalog, and this card right here, let me zoom in a little closer. So that's the card that I'm going to be making in this video, and hopefully you can make your version of this card too. So the colors in this card, as it is right here, are Pool Party. We've got this In Color Glimmer Paper. I love this stuff. I'm going to let my camera focus on this a little bit different. Okay, so you can see that glimmer, and these are our new In Colors. There we go. See that shine? There we go. Okay. So this is Parakeet Party. Oh, there. I added a light to it. Okay, so we've got Parakeet Party, Tahitian Tide, Starry Sky, Orchid Oasis, and I'm not sure, let's see if you can see both sides. So one side is lighter. You've got this ombre effect, so it's getting darker as you go down the cardstock. And then this is Sweet Sorbet. This is the color that I decided to use, but the one in the catalog used the Parakeet Party, which is the green one. So they also used, of course, basic white cardstock, and then the inks they used to stamp the butterflies are Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green. They used Pool Party on the background, and then Petal Pink for one of the other butterflies. So I am not going to be using the same colors, and I'll show you what I'm using as I pull them out. I just wanted you to know what the original is. Something I'm also changing is they used the One Happy Family stamp set. So I don't have this stamp set, and all they used is this small, let's see if I can get it in the camera, this hey right there. They didn't use the whole rest of this stamp, they just used that one word to stamp in the middle of that smallest butterfly. So right here. And after looking through all of my stamps, I don't have anything that is that small. And there may be other things in the catalog, or you may have something, but I just didn't have anything that was that tiny that will work for that card. So I went to my Paper Pumpkin stamps, and I did find a hey. It's a little bit bigger, but it will work. It is all the way back from April 2015. So if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, hang on to those stamp sets. That's one of my favorite things about Paper Pumpkin is those stamp sets last forever, and sometimes the best sentiments are in those. And sometimes they're just handy. You just never know when you're going to need a sentiment that is exactly that size. So one of my favorite Happy Mother's Day stamps is from a Paper Pumpkin set, and I use it not every year, but a lot. And while I'm talking about kits, the kit collection by Stampin' Up is still buy one get one half off through the end of June, so you have just a couple more days to be able to take advantage of that. And it's not all cards, y'all. There's a memory book, there's a magnetic wall thing, which I actually bought. I haven't put together yet, but I took advantage of this sale this month too. It's going to be the perfect thing for my daughter's dorm in the fall, and she just picked her colors, and wouldn't you know, it's the same ones in that kit. So I can't believe that I was able to get that. I thought I was going to have to change things up. She hasn't even seen it yet. And then whenever we went shopping this week, those are the colors she picked. So that was kind of exciting for me, and hopefully she'll be excited too when she sees it. So, and there's also non-stamping kits, and there are like little gift things. There's just all kinds of stuff in those kits, so you want to check them out before the sale ends. And it goes through the end of June 2022. Alright, so let's get to stamping. And I did do a few things ahead of time this time, mainly because it's a little difficult to use that stamp, cut, and emboss machine at my desk. So, instead of the pool party cardstock for the card base and the background, I decided to use soft seafoam, which I'm not going to lie, I didn't use this color for years. Like, I don't think I used it even once for years. And then I used it to do something, and I keep finding myself turning back to it. I just really love the way it looks with certain colors. Night of Navy is one. Doesn't that look good? I really love that color combination. So now I keep finding myself grabbing this color. So I have already cut this sheet 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches, and then I used the brick and mortar. This is my favorite embossing folder right now. So I used the brick and mortar embossing folder to emboss it. So here's a tip when using embossing folders like this. Lay it down this way in your embossing machine. Always put it through this end first, the folded end. And when you lay your cardstock down, be sure to lay it down straight by following this line right here. And then run it through and you're good to go. So I'm going to set that to the side. And the next thing that I'm going to do is grab my Stamparatus. Now, you don't have to use your Stamparatus. You can use the largest clear block that we have, but I really like to use the Stamparatus when I'm using stamps, the big background stamps like this. So I cut a piece of basic white cardstock 4 3/4 by 6 inches. And I do not have the foam mat because this is a cling set, so I don't need the foam mat on here. I just need to make sure that my cardstock is where I want it to be. So I'm going to pull it this way a smidge, and let's see. Yep, that's good. So I'm going to put a magnet up at the very tippy top and one over here in the corner. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use my Night of Navy ink. This makes really pretty butterflies. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just inking it up. And I'm pulling it gently as I put it down. That way if I need to restamp, I can make sure I'm restamping in exactly the same place. Okay, so I missed a couple of spots. So I'm going to grab that ink pad again and go back over all of those butterflies one more time. So I missed right through here. Don't know how I did it, but I did. So I'm pulling it gently out a little bit. And then I'm just going to focus on those two areas where I missed. There we go. Perfect. So now I have a really messy stamp over here. I'm going to pull this to the side. I'm going to be careful not to stick my fingers in it. That'll dry really fast, but it's probably not dry quite yet. And then I'm going to grab an alcohol-free baby wipe. I'm just going to use it to wipe off some of this ink off of this butterfly stamp for two reasons. One, it helps me to keep ink from getting everywhere, and so that I can pull it off easier without having ink all over my fingers. You can tell I've already been stamping some today with this Night of a Navy ink, and I am looking a little bit like a Smurf, but that's okay. So this is kind of messy. The other reason why I do this is I don't like to wash my stamp cleaners all the time. So a lot of times I will use a damp paper towel or a baby wipe to wipe off my stamps before cleaning them. That way I don't have to clean my cleaners as often. This is just a microfiber towel. I'm just drying that because that baby wipe was wet, way wetter than normal. I think I'm getting to the end of my package. Okay, so the next thing that I would do is get my butterfly dies. This is Brilliant Wings, and there's a whole bunch of these dies. And there's even another one that's just, it goes right here, but I have it somewhere else right now. Alright, so I would take this and place it on my cutting mat for my die cut machine and make sure that it's nice and even. And usually with this big die, since there's so much to line up here, I use a piece of craft tape or washi tape, or if you have Stampin' Up's masking tape, you can use a scrap of that if you have one lying around, just to hold down all these corners so it doesn't shift a lot whenever I'm putting it through the die cut machine. But so this one die will cut out all of those stamps. And I did that already with Night of Navy, Daffodil Delight, and Pool Party. So I started with Pool Party when I did this earlier, and then I cleaned my stamp without taking it off. I just used that baby wipe, and then I used my chamois, and then I used Daffodil Delight, repeated the process of cleaning it, and then I used the Night of Navy. So now I have all of these gorgeous butterflies printed, or not printed, but stamped and cut and ready to go. I've got several stacks of them on the corner of my desk here. Alright, so now I'm going to put the foam mat back on my Stamparatus. That's a fun word, isn't it? Stamparatus. I just like that word. Alright, so I'm going to stick that on here. And then I'm going to grab my other plate because I don't want to deal with taking off those butterflies quite yet. And I have this scrap of basic white cardstock that I've already die cut a butterfly out of. And I have this butterfly here, and I'll show you which one that is. So there's two butterflies that are by themselves. I used the larger one. So I've got it cut out here, and this is where that hay comes in. So this is that stamp set I was telling you about that's from Paper Pumpkin April 2015. And I'm going to just center this hay up. It's upside down. So I'm going to center this up as good as I can inside that butterfly. And then I'm going to use that ink, and I'm going to just see how that looks. Alright, so it's not quite centered up, so what I'm going to do is move my butterfly and center it a little bit better. I like it like that. So now I'm going to take that butterfly that I had cut out of that spot and put it back in. Ink up that hay again. And I've got a perfectly stamped butterfly. Well, I stamped the word in the butterfly. And it's all ready to go. And this is great to do with any punches or dies. You can punch out your first one. Like if you're doing a bunch of Christmas cards, punch out your first one and then hold it down. Get everything set up like you want it. And then you can just ink and stamp, ink and stamp, ink and stamp, and get lots of tags or little sentiment pieces, whatever you're wanting to do. You can do them really quickly, and you don't have to worry about lining it up every time. You just do it that one time and then put your piece in the hole that it makes, and you're ready to go. Okay, so the other thing that I did was I grabbed all of these dies. These, like I said, these are also from Brilliant Wings dies, and I placed them on the glimmer paper, and I die cut all the butterflies out of the glimmer paper too. Isn't this pretty? I love this. So I've already done most of them because this is a little tedious. And every time I do this, I think, oh my goodness, I need the brush that goes on the end of a Take Your Pick tool. And every time I order, I forget to buy that brush. So I'm placing another order Friday. Maybe I'll remember to order it then. I hope so. Because what that brush does is you can take this off and put that brush in there. And then you just rub the brush. It has lots of pokey bristles on it. And it's like a round rolly brush. And it pokes all of these little pieces out. So you don't have to sit here with your tool and poke them out one at a time. And when you die cut these butterflies, I do recommend you run it through your die cut machine at least twice. I usually run it through, run it back, run it through, and run it back. Just because this paper is a little thicker, and as you can see, the pieces just don't want to poke out. So you want it to be pretty easy to poke these out, especially when you're getting the butterfly out of the designer's or the paper when you're poking the actual big butterfly shape out, because you don't want to tear off the antenna. I've done that before. So just something to keep in mind. So I didn't mention earlier, but this is my stamp set of the week. I thought about using something new, but it's been a while since I've really focused on my butterflies, and butterflies are my favorite. So I decided, let's do a week of butterflies. And that means I can add whatever sentiment stamps I like to it, because it doesn't have sentiments. And I do love my sentiment stamps. I think it's funny, though, that I decided to do that, and now here I am using a paper pumpkin stamp set, but that's okay. Okay, so let's put this together. We have all of our pieces now. So we've got some butterflies and some more butterflies. I'm going to use that one, and then I'll use this little one. Okay, so I'm going to start off as I assemble this by using Stampin' Dimensionals on the back, and I like a lot of dimensionals. So I'm going to do 3 rows of 3, and I like to do it that way because I don't like it to get saggy in the middles. I like it to have plenty of support. I also like to make sure it's going to stick together. Whoops. Who knows where that's going to be facing? I just hit my face-facing camera. Did that make sense? Just trying to center that up. I'm not really good with measurements and centering, but I'm trying to eyeball that and do the best that I can. And then I'm placing these butterflies in here, and you know what? I am just kind of placing them in close to the same. I'm not being real particular about it, but this is pretty much how it was laid out in the card. I mean, in the catalog. I'm not going to agonize over trying to get it perfect. So for these, you can use the adhesive sheets on the back of these before you die cut them out. You can use glue dots, which I have done several times. I cut the glue dots up and use just pieces of glue dots in strategic places. Like that would have been a good place for a good dot, a glue dot. Or you can do like I'm doing and do just a little bit of glue, just enough to hold it in place. So I'm going to take this and tuck it underneath this yellow one while placing it over this larger blue one. And I didn't put glue everywhere, so it's not going to completely stick down. I just don't want it to fly away. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to this smaller one. And I'm just making little bitty dots because I don't want glue to get everywhere. I just want enough to hold it in place. Be really careful if you're using a brand new liquid glue because it does tend to not go everywhere, but it comes out a lot easier. So let's see if I can pick the corner of that up, and I can, just barely. There we go. So that took some fiddling. I don't know why I was being quite particular about how I wanted that. Alright, so this one I'm just putting a little glue down the middle. You could also use a glue dot here. And then I'm layering it over this larger butterfly. Okay, so for this butterfly, I'm going to use mini Stampin' Dimensionals. I'll place one here in the middle. And then I think what I'm going to do is use my paper snips and cut this one in half. I may even cut it in quarters. We'll see. Yep, I'm going to cut it in quarters. So I want a little snip right here. I'm going to put one down here. Hope y'all can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to snip it again. And then this one can go down here. I don't have all the corners yet, so I'm going to grab one more of these and I'm going to cut this one in quarters as well. So that looks like a good place for a dimensional bit. Might go easier if I use my take your pick tool, huh? Alright, so right there. Then I'm going to cut it in half again. And I'm going to put one up here. I'm going to kind of turn it. Nope. There we go. And then I'm going to put one on the other side too. Just kidding. This one is a little bigger. So you know where I'm going to put this one? I'm going to put it right here. This is a good spot. Okay. So I'm going to pull all those backings off. Yikes. When you cut these tiny dimensionals in quarters, it doesn't leave you much to work with. Thank goodness for my Take Your Pick tool. That didn't work as planned. I just poked a hole all the way through my butterfly. See what that looks like on the other side. So it's super noticeable. But I pulled that thing off again. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is one of those moments where I would really think about cutting this out in the editing process, but I'm not going to. So, because we all need to learn from my mistakes here. I know that this is doable because I've done it. I don't know why it's giving me... There! Okay. So, very carefully, no poking, because you don't want to poke all the way through and mess up your glitter on the other side. Not glitter, but glimmer. So very carefully use the Take Your Pick tool to hold down your dimensional. And then you can pull the backing off. So I'm kind of poking it in the side and just holding it down. I will say, I've said it before, I usually say it when I'm tying bows, but when you're recording a video, it like ups the challenge level. It makes easy things seem a little bit more challenging. But we all like a good challenge sometimes, right? Okay. There. That looks good. So now I'm going to place this one over these other ones, hopefully not too much. That looks good. What do you think? So then, the inside of this card is actually light enough that if you wanted to just write on your card, you certainly could. And this small little butterfly, remember how I said I love these two colors together, so that would look good just like that, or maybe up in the corner. I really like them down here though. So you could do that. You could just leave it. Though, if you watch my videos, you know I like to add just a piece of basic white cardstock inside the card. Like that framed look that it gives it. And then I'm going to add this butterfly down here in the corner. Okay, so let me grab my catalog again. And we'll flip to that original card and you can see what you think about the original. There you go. And then there is my version. So hopefully you like one or the other. If you decide to do your own color combination, I would love to see that. And you can always share it over on my Facebook page. Alright, thank you guys for watching my video today. I hope that you are inspired to create something fun and beautiful. And I hope that you liked the card that I created today. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Love getting those. Oh, did you see my Smurf thumb? Yeah, I do not have a green thumb. That is blue. So, And if you haven't already, I totally distracted myself. If you haven't already and you enjoy watching my videos, then hit that subscribe button down below or over here. I'm not really sure where it's going to pop up. But I love it whenever I get that ding letting me know that somebody subscribed. And you can get notified every time I post a new video, which I try to do every Tuesday morning and Friday evening. And sometimes I might throw in a little extra something in there too on another day of the week. So I hope y'all are having a wonderful summer and enjoying the sunshine. I hope you're staying safe out there, and happy stamping!